Hello, how you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be solving the DataLemur sending versus opening snaps. This is a Snapchat SQL interview question, and if you have done the ACE, the data science interview question, DataLemur, you eventually run into this problem, right? So let's get started. So the question asks, assume you are given a table with information on Snapchat users, including their age and time spent sending versus opening snap. Write a query to obtain a breakdown of the time spent sending versus opening Snap as a percentage of total time spent on these activities, group by age group. Round the percentage to two decimal places in the output, right? So the biggest thing we get from this is we have to give a difference or the breakdown of these two, sending versus opening Snap, as a percentage of total time spent on these activities, right? Group by the age group, and then we're eventually gonna round it by two decimal places. And on the note, it gives us a little calculation, right, of exactly what they're looking for and how really to get the percentage, right? So if we look down here, we have two tables: the activity tables and the age breakdown tables, right? Let's take a look at these tables. So on the activity tables, we have the activity ID, the user ID, what the activity type that the user did, opening or sending the snap, and the time spent on those activities, and then the activity date, right? And let's look at the age breakdown table. The age breakdown table has the user ID and just the age bucket, right? So we have what we have here is what we're going to be grouping by right here, the age bucket. So first thing first, right? We have to join this table because there are two separate tables. We have to join them in order to solve this problem, right? So what we have here, we have the user ID and the age bucket here, right? And then on the activity tables, we have the activity ID, user ID, activity type, time spent, and activity date. So we can use the user ID to join these tables together, right? So let's join these. So select all from activities. I'm going to use a left join, and the reason why is because I consider this as the main table, and I want everything on this table. And the only thing I want from the age breakdown table is just the user ID that match here, and the age bucket. That's it, right? So we're going to say left join age bucket age breakdown, and we're going to give this an alias as AB, and we're going to give the activities an alias as A, and we're going to use the on clause to join these tables together. So a dot user underscore ID equals dot AB dot user underscore ID, and I forgot to mention here, so it's going to be left join, not left, right? So we're gonna hit run code, and now we're gonna get all the tables joined together. We have the user ID, the user ID for the other tables, and remember this is the left join, so we get everything from the left table, and we only join everything that matches the right, everything from the right table that matches the left table, right? So now we have that. Now we have to actually solve the problem, right? So let's take a look here. So I know that we're gonna group by eventually by the age bucket, right? So we're gonna say the age bucket is from the AB table, age underscore bucket, comma, and then because we need these activities, we need to find out exactly how we're gonna get these, right? So we're gonna use the case clause, right? So case so and so has this, then give us the time spent, because this is what we need. We need the total time spent, right? So I'm just gonna show you real quick what we're gonna be doing. So we're gonna use the case when a dot activity, and I use a because activity type is from the first table, right? The activity table. So a dot activity underscore type equals, let's do send first, send, then the spent time spent, right? And we're gonna end it here. That's it. I'm gonna give this an alias as time underscore s, and comma, and then we're gonna do the other one for, we're gonna do the same thing for the open, right? I'm just gonna copy and paste this here. Alright, we'll just comma, that's it, and we're gonna change this to open, and we're gonna get this alias as time. Oh, so We have the age bucket, which is going to be grouping by. We have the case when activity type equals send, and give us the time spent. Case when activity type equals open, then give us the time spent. Alias as time O, alias as time spent. Now remember, it said the total time spent on these activities, right? So we're going to find the total time spent on these activities. So we're going to use the sum on the case statement. So sum, comma, we're going to end it right here. We're going to do the same thing here. Sum, oh, I said comma, I mean bracket. Sum, end it right here. And now we have an aggregated function right here. So we're going to use the group by clause. So group by ab.age bucket. Alright. So now we're going to give this an alias as age underscore b. And now we're going to click run. Hold on. See. Syntax error near time. Let me see what I did wrong here. Oh, put it. It needs to go from the inside. Always remember the alias is always on the outside. B. Did I mistype something? Let's see. Line 10. Group by. Oh my god. Forgot my space. Crazy. So small little things will just ruin the code, right? So everything has to be on point, attention to detail. So now we have the age bucket, and we have the total time spent, and the total time opening. These are the aliases that I mentioned, and then we have the age bucket right here. So now we have the total time spent on these activities. Now we need to find the percentage, right? And then this is the node to give us of the percentages we need to find of, or basically like the calculation what we need to do to find the percentage, right? So we can obviously do it here, but it's gonna be very messy. So I'm gonna create a CTE table or common table expression, and I'm gonna name it with CTE with CTE. Name it CTE as base. Move these over, comma, and then say select age underscore b, comma, and we're gonna actually solve the problem, right? So we have that, and we're gonna say a bracket, keep saying comma, bracket. So we're gonna do is the alias. So time spent opening. Remember, also to avoid interior division and percentage multiplied by 100.0. So we're gonna do time spent opening. I don't even mention it here, but if you actually run this code, I'll actually do it and show you guys. So time spent divided by time spent sending plus time underscore opening. And the same thing here for the other, but this time it's gonna be time opening. Make sure everything is right. Yep, everything is right. Now we're gonna say from CTE. Let's run it. You're gonna see what happened. So now we have it. First of all, we didn't. First of all, we get all this percentage, right? This is not right. So what we need to do is we gotta multiply the time spent by 110, right? This is how you avoid integer division, right? So whenever you dividing, trying to get some percentages of anything in SQL and coding wise, you need to multiply it by 100.00, right, or 100.0, whatever, right? And then we also gotta round it because look at this, all these decimal places right there. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna say round. We're gonna round the whole thing, comma, two decimal places. Keep saying comma, round, and then we're gonna multiply this by 100.0, and then multiply this one by 100.0, and then gonna hit run again. And now this is exactly how it's supposed to look like, right? To avoid all that integer division, right? And then also run it by two decimal places. I'm gonna click submit. and then congrats, right? So this is how you solve this problem, right? The biggest thing when you're solving this is understanding what you gotta do and what tools you're gonna need to do that job, right? So I before I even did this, I knew I need to use the case, right? And I knew I had to use the sum to get the total, right? And I knew I had to use the CTE to make my life easier by doing this than trying to implement it right here. So as long as you know what to do, trying to understand what these case statement actually does, what the common table expression actually does, you come to any problem, it's gonna be like basic. Like it's gonna be very easy for you, just plug and play basically, and just all you. The biggest thing is really trying to figure out exactly how to how to like how to like do the equation, as you go along in your journey learning SQL. But this is it, right? This is the DataLemur extending this is opening snaps Snapchat SQL interview question. If you guys do have any question, please leave it down in the chat below. And if you make it this far, I appreciate it and thank you. And have a good day.